Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And I'm speaking to you here from Montreal. Can you give me a second, please, to put on a bit of light? And here we have, a little bit too much light. Well, we're all seeing on our screens now, we're seeing Dr. Fucci testifying here. And if you want to call that testifying on before a Senate committee, I mean, I don't call it testifying that. I mean, I don't know what words I would call it, but I mean, uh, his silence, I'll say this, his silence is an admission of his guilt. This is it. We look at the man. Why doesn't he speak? If you're an innocent individual and you have nothing to hide, why is he not speaking out or whatever in that way? And I mean, I'm making this video. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a person who's known or whatever in that way. But I mean, I think I must speak out to speak about my experiences that I've incurred in the years that COVID took place or whatever. And I want to share these experiences in the hope that it will help people, other people, to come out and share our experiences. Because I think this is what we really need to do, people. We really need to come out and we need to talk about what happened openly and honestly or whatever. Silence serves no purpose, it serves or whatever. So what do I want to say? I'll begin by relating my experiences or whatever, and it's a personal experience which related to me or whatever in that way. And during the COVID or whatever, my father was in a residence, in a residence setting or whatever. And to go see him, first of all, to go see him in the residence, I had to get two vaccination shots, or else I would not be permitted. I will repeat, I was not permitted to go see him without being vaccinated. Okay. Even if I just even if I just wanted to wear a mask, it was not enough. I had to be vaccinated a minimum of two times to see him or whatever. So I got I got the vaccinations against my will, in a sense, or because I really didn't want to get them, but I wanted to see my dear father, so I got the vaccinations or whatever, because I was his contact. I was his only contact to the exterior world or whatever in that way. So can I tell you how important it was for that man to have my weekly visits to the residence? Hmm. So we go further, we go, okay? That it happened that one time my father found himself in a hospital. He had to be transported to the hospital. He had to be transported from the residence or whatever in that way. So I'll relate what happened one time. I went to a major hospital here in Montreal, and I'll tell you what I had to do to get in. I had to register when I came in the hospital. I had to sign my name or whatever that way. I had to sign, okay. Then I had to go up to the floor where he was staying in that way. And before I could go to the room, not only putting a mask, I call it, I was required to put on a moon suit, okay? Let me describe what a moon suit is. Had to put on a mask. I had to put on plastic gloves in my hands, okay? On top of that, I had to put a plastic visor covering myself, okay? And I had to put on a gown too. I had to put on. This is what I had to do to go and see him at the hospital. So I was indeed, excuse me, not to be funny, I was indeed making a moon landing. I was an astronaut. Not very funny to be required to do this to see your beloved one in the hospital in that way. And let me describe another incident. It happened another time that my father had to be transported to the emergency ward or whatever. It was not critical at the moment. It was not okay. So I present myself to the emergency room, and of course, there's a security guard who tells me who's there greeting every person who's entering the emergency ward, and they're checking. I was going to say your credentials, but they're checking to see if you've been vaccinated. So I said, listen, at that time I had been vaccinated only once. So the security guard like looks at me only once, but the regulations are that you should be so you should be vaccinated with two shots to be able to get into the hospital or whatever in that way. So he goes to me, well, he goes, let me check what, see what I can do, if I can do something. So he disappears down the corridor, he disappears, okay? Comes back about 10 minutes later and says to me, well, he goes, okay. He goes, this time, he goes, will allow you to come into the hospital to visit your father in the emergency ward. But he goes, the next time that you try to come, if you've only been vaccinated one time, we will not allow you to come back and visit him again. I just want to make you aware because a lot of people lived the COVID in the clouds they lived. They didn't see what was really taking place on the ground or whatever, what people were put through. And I don't have to tell you stories. You can hear the stories that people went through even worse horror stories than I went through. How many senior citizens died alone without a loved one present in their rooms? This, this you have to know. This you have to be made aware of. People were not allowed, and one year I remember families were not allowed to congregate for the holidays. For one day, they were not allowed for a few hours to congregate together because there were too many people. They put in draconian laws that you had to be three people, you had to be only three people in a room together at the same time. And then, do you remember? I don't know, here in Montreal, it was that they were encouraging when you meet a person on the street, you have to put a certain distance between you and that person. I forget the exact feet. You couldn't talk. You shouldn't talk. Close face to face. I mean, sort of face to face to a person. You shouldn't do that. It was not encouraged or whatever. So what is this? What is this? These are the repressive, fascist measures that were put into some of them. I'm just touching the surface of what occurred at that time or whatever. So this is what you have to be made aware of or whatever. And I really invite individuals out there, even though I'm not known, I'm not Russell Brand or whatever in that sense. I invite individuals to come and share their experiences because this is what we must do as a world community. We must share our experiences in that way. So I thank you for your time, and I'm glad that I'm able to be able to share. And I wish you a good day. And I'm trying to look now how to terminate here, how to terminate the the live communication here. And I'm trying to see a button or whatever in that